Our top story, a day after being appointed as the UK Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak today faced a fiery first Prime Minister's questions in the House of Commons. Opposition leaders try to corner Sunak over multiple issues ranging from the energy crisis that the country is in the grip of and even the reappointment of Braverman as the Home Secretary. Not only that, the opposition is also demanding a snap general election. Leader of the opposition and Labour MP Keir Starmer opened the questioning regarding the reappointment of Braverman as Britain's Home Secretary. He asked Sunak if Braverman was right to resign last week for a breach of security, something that she had admitted to. Prime Minister Sunak responded by admitting her mistake but went on to defend her on this issue.
He asked about the Home Secretary. The Home Secretary made an error of judgment, but she recognised that. She raised the matter and she accepted her mistake. And that's why I was delighted to welcome back into a united cabinet that brings experience and stability to the heart of government.
Now, as the intense exchange continued, Keir Starmer also questioned the mandate of Rishi Sunak, talking about the brief stint of former Prime Minister Liz Truss and even demanded a snap general election in the UK.
Only time he ran in a competitive election, he got trounced by the former Prime Minister, who herself got beaten by a lettuce. So why doesn't he put it to the test, let working people have their say and call a general election?
Rishi Sunak was prompt in his response. He reminded the Labour leader of the 2016 Brexit vote. He went on to justify the Tory mandate won in the last general election.
Mr. Speaker, he talks about mandates, about votes, about elections. It's a bit rich coming from the person who tried to overturn the biggest democratic vote in our country's history. Our mandate is based on a manifesto that we were elected on, to remind him an election that we won and they lost. A mandate that says we want a stronger NHS, better schools, safer streets, control of our borders and levelling up. That is the mandate that I and this government will deliver for the British people.
Just ahead of the Parliament session, Rishi Sunak held his first cabinet meeting, after which the Halloween budget plan was delayed. The Prime Minister's office said the UK's crunch budget plan has been postponed till the 17th of November. The announcement of the plan to repair the UK's public finances was due on the 31st of October. Sunak told his cabinet that the government would delay the fiscal event until the 17th of next month because it's important to get difficult decisions right and consult them on those issues. The Sunak government's fiscal statement is being keenly anticipated by the financial markets. Addressing the divide within the Tories, Rishi Sunak also pledged to unite his fractured Conservative Party and an increasingly unimpressed nation. For more on this story, we're now joined by our correspondent Alex Izat from London. Alex, Rishi Sunak facing his first Prime Minister's questions, and no surprises there. He was clearly in the line of fire over multiple issues, ranging from the reappointment of Braverman as the Home Secretary to the opposition even questioning his mandate and reiterating their demand for a fresh election.
Absolutely, but we were expecting him to get those that feedback. Obviously, Keir Starmer is opposition, so he's going to be putting those jibes in wherever he can. It did seem, though, that a lot of it was also surrounding how much money that Rishi Sunak and his wife have. He did put in a little snub there about Dom status, and that was a real issue over the summer with Rishi Sunak's wife, which he did say that he would sort out. But also there's the issue with Braverman. Now, opposition have obviously been calling the question, why is she returned? She was asked to resign because she broke ministerial code. Rishi Sunak said she'd apologised and it was a soft crime and that he was happy to have her back. But a lot of people, within his own parliament, we're hearing that from Downing Street as well, that they are questioning this. Why is she back? What else has she given away? Have her emails been gone through? And I do think that that is going to be a question that keeps repeating itself over and over again. But generally throughout PMQs, Rishi Sunak did come across as quite defiant. He gave as good as he got. He talked about the Labour issues of them also backing terrible people within their own party. And he did want to keep reiterating that he is going to try and make a difference for the country and that he's going to be uniting his own party for the sake and for the good of the country. So that's what we came out of that. Of course, as he left PMQs, then the question from Labour was again regarding Suella Braverman, but she had left at this time when Yvette did question. So haven't heard from her yet on this matter, but that I think will be continuing this trend, calling for a snap election as well. Labour are opposition, they will keep pushing for it. They do need to have a majority to get no confidence and to get that snap election, and it doesn't look likely it's going to happen. And yet we still haven't heard their policies, what they would do any different. So I do think that today showed Rishi Sunak that he is a strong and confident leader, and we're going to be hearing a lot more from him on that.
Right. It'll be interesting to see, Alex, what Suella Braverman actually says about the entire controversy surrounding her reappointment. And at the same time, however divided the Tories may be, the last thing they really would want is a fresh election, given how poll after poll has suggested that they're going to be wiped out if there were going to be an election in the UK today. Having said that, apart from all these issues over which Rishi Sunak has faced criticism from the opposition, what do you make of his decision to put off the unveiling of his fiscal plan? It was meant to happen on the 31st of this month. Now he says it's going to happen on the 17th of November. Does this, in a sense, betray some kind of nervousness on part of the new Prime Minister?
I don't think it does. I do think that ultimately it was brought forward. Don't forget, originally when the mini statement came out with Kwasi Kwarteng, he did say that the next fiscal statement would be on the 23rd of November. And yet that was brought forward because the markets were spooked so badly. We had a huge drop in the pound. Obviously, inflation was rising. The Bank of England had to step in. So he brought that forward to the 31st of October, and the OBR forecast is also due. But ultimately, Rishi Sunak has just got in, and even though he's kept Jeremy Hunt as his Chancellor, who then basically backtracked on all of Liz Truss's promises, he still needs to go over with a fine-tooth comb exactly how much debt the country is in. We keep hearing numbers, 30 to 40 billion pounds worth of debt, and we need to know where we're going to be able to get that money from. How are we going to be able to claw that back? So I believe it's right for Sunak to take some time before he comes out and says exactly what we're going to be doing. Now, the big interesting part of this is that originally it was going to be a mid-term fiscal statement. However, the November 17th date will be an autumn statement, which means that it will be for a longer term than what we were expecting on the 31st of October. So I think it's right that he is a little bit cautious and then only gives one. We don't want to keep hearing about, then the next statement and then the next statement. We want stability, and hopefully with this date, which is pushed back a little bit from the change on the 31st, will give us that stability and give us those policies to show where we're going to be getting this money from, how much the country is in debt, and what the OBR forecast really means and how it can be put into practice.
Well, Rishi Sunak treading cautiously there, but clearly all eyes will be on that fiscal plan that he is now going to unveil on the 17th of November. It's going to be watched very closely, and he will clearly be judged on that. Thanks very much, Alex, for getting us all those details.